What's up, you hurricane sluts? Today is a day that I want to talk to you about business. I was at my job feeling a familiar, painful feeling, and had the calling to have this conversation tonight and write a few things down on paper to then address and speak to in this space. So we have a plan. This is not a free flow. The familiar, painful feeling was the sense of being stuck. I'm a server right now, and I'm working at a great restaurant, and there's not a restaurant that I'd rather be working at, so I'm really fortunate in that sense. However, that being said, I'm working as a server, and the familiar, painful feeling is the sense of being stuck, feeling like I know what I really want to do, like I've got this gift inside of me, and I can really, this sense that I can really deliver value to the world, share something nourishing to people, and I have this calling to create professionally, which really means to me like being able to create full time. And I feel this gift that I hold inside me and have been cultivating inside of me is one which I practice and I cultivate through my creative endeavor. And so this painful feeling is also the sense of like feeling like I've gone nowhere. I've really wanted to share my work, build an audience for many years of my life, and I still feel like I'm at zero. Like I haven't made it, like even moved the needle. And I've certainly become a much better creator, but I haven't really put it into the world in a way which is connected with the world at all yet. And this familiar, painful feeling is also one in which, like, I really don't want to be a waiter. Like, I want to do this work that I care about for a living, as many artists do. And it's like, it's also this, a pain emanates from the sense of like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to make this work. I feel like I've been trying this thing for a long time and it just hasn't been working, and I don't really know what to do differently or how to change. And even the act of going through this like visioning process of like, okay, I want to talk to myself about business. Like, what is the macro vision? Like, the vision's essentially been unchanged for 8 years, and I've been moving into it with all my might, like for 8 years plus. And I'm still stuck, and I feel like I've been stuck all of this time. So even the idea of like making this, having this conversation, there's something about it that just feels so fruitless, because it's like, bro, I've had this conversation countless times and I haven't moved. So what makes you think having this conversation tonight is going to do anything? That's like one thing that came up when I was writing and like making the overview of how to speak about business. That's like one thing that came up. And I also feel like is a fundamental element which lies in the essence of the pain point which brought up this calling to have this conversation. Paradoxes aside, I've illustrated the macro vision, like I said, countless times. It's clear to me. I know what I want in that sense. How to do it is the part of the equation that hasn't really made sense. And it's like I spend a lot of time contemplating how to move, and ultimately, I do feel like I'm at a point now, and perhaps I've been at this point many times before, and maybe this is something that's like cyclical, and I'm also not trying to diminish the act of reaching inside of myself to connect with vision, connect with a path which holds purpose. I feel like that's an integral part of the process. And I think what's important about the process is that I also, though it feels like I haven't been moving, I certainly have been moving. I've been making projects, I've been completing things, I've been releasing things, regardless of whether or not they've gotten traction. I have work in the world that I'm proud of. And a line that I read today from a guy named Nicholas Cole, who's a friend of mine, it says, and I would say he's a well-established human in this world. He's a person who holds influence and has claimed that position in a way that, to me, holds a lot of nobility. And this line, and so he's somebody, in short, that I respect and that I really value his perspective. And he shared this line, which is, "Stop chasing attention, start building a library of content you're proud of." It rings for me. It rings for me a lot. I think I've made multiple endeavors into releasing content consistently, and I think it's all been with this era of chasing attention. Very much coming from a place of like, look at me, look at my work first, which is also not to like diminish that. It is my duty and my responsibility as the artist and the creator of the work to share the work and to put it out there, and like people aren't going to care unless you give them a reason to care. That is the case. However, I think he delivers a poignant invitation in these words. Stop chasing attention, start building a library of content that you're proud of. And to me, that invitation rings in a sense of I'm going to let that line speak for itself. And I'm going to continue speaking to where I am currently. So I feel very connected with this vision of Azira, but I would say that the core business model and brand of the operation is that I'm interested in releasing content which is for the world, which generates an audience. And there's something about me saying these things that just, if it almost feels wrong coming out my mouth, like it's sticky, it's like it leaves grit in my teeth. And it feels like this, like I'm doing this to get something out of you. And I really want to do this in a way that's like, how can I give something to you that is valuable for you? Like I've recognized I have this thing with people where I can connect with on the soul level. I part of this gift for me is like recognizing that, like in my interactions with people, I listen in a very deep way, and I can speak to people when the opportunities arise in a way which penetrates to that level of depth, because I'm genuinely interested on like where are you? Where do you want to be? Where do you feel like, what is your fullest expression, and how do we move in that direction? That's really a foundation of where I come from when I talk to people. And with those who are interested, uh, these conversations can these conversations and interactions of various forms can really make what I experience as very positive and impactful change. And it's the essence of these kinds of conversations that I want to share and deliver through my work. And I really want to do this in a way which is for people. And I genuinely believe, too, that the way this stuff actually comes to connect is when it comes from that place of like giving the gift repeatedly. And so I want to orient myself into a way of like giving the gift repeatedly. And I also want to do this in a way that is with business, that is with a brand. I just feel called to it. I feel inspired by it. I always have. And you know, the people who really inspire me like can do this in a way that's exceptional. You know, like David Bowie is just somebody who comes to mind as somebody who's given this gift of his creative expression and does so in a way which opens the world and opens people up to themselves. And that's exactly how I want to be and how I want to move. And so then everything boils down to how. Like there's this macro vision of the business model, which includes like, you know, success to me is this body of work which has an impassioned community attentive to it, who care for what comes next and who desire to read the next part of the story, whatever the next thing is that is released. And I could talk about macro visions all I want. I could talk about, you know, this business model which is centered upon like generating content for the world consistently of quality so that people come to the beacon and the watering hole, and you know it generates attention, and with this attention and attraction come opportunities being like people are going to listen to the music I release with whomever I release it. There's income generated through streams. People care to like feel the presence of the brand and want to be a part of it and go to like wear the merch. Like that is inspiring to me. Simultaneously, I want to create in a way which emanates this quality of craft, and opportunities arise to create for other artists, other creatives, other brands and entities in this kind of collaboration which has like a multi-pronged income revenue generation. It's like the brand itself is a machine. And my dream is to do this full time. Like I don't want to be a server, and there's a lot of things that I'm finding value in being a server. You know, I learn in everything that I do, and I choose to live in that way and relate to everything that I do, everything that I have to do or feel I have to do. I want to continue relate to it with like the highest optimal light of, you know, everything that I do is building me into that which I'm born to be, into the embodiment of my potential. That being said, I know what I want to do for money, and I want to do for money that which I want to do regardless. And of course, I'm not alone here. And I'm with a lot of people who, the vast majority of people who have this desire don't find its fulfillment. Why is that? I don't know. Why hasn't it worked for me yet? I don't understand. If I did, we wouldn't be having this conversation. What's the difference between those who make it and those who don't? I would say my greatest fear is like it not working out, and the pain point that initiated this conversation is that sense of like, I've been working hella hard and shit ain't really working out. Thank you, JID. We're in Atlanta because of you, bruh. So there's a fundamental business model or an idea there, right? And I say business model, I'm not necessarily even talking about the brand of Azyra. Like, what is it? Why is it? How is it? Who is it? That's more of a mythology kind of conversation, but this is more like the model. And there was an initial sense of like, fuck, hopelessness kind of thing. And at one point in the writing that I did before this to prep this conversation, which is just like, we've had this conversation so many times. Shit ain't working. What makes you think that trying this door again is going to produce a different result? You delusional kid. And it's a fair observation. That being said, it's an important observation. That being said, one thing that rings quite clearly, regardless of... So what I'm not interested in doing right now is like trying to plot the path to the gold. Okay, that isn't true. I am most certainly plotting the path to the gold, but what I recognize is the conversational medium of our times is short form micro video content. It's reels, like TikTok, Instagram reels, video, YouTube shorts, whatever it is. That, to me, it just seems clear is the conversational medium of our times. It is the medium which has it just rings out the most to me is like, okay, if you want to make your voice heard, learn how to do this. If I'm promoting my music, it's like, learn how to do it this way. If I'm promoting a clothing company, it's like, share the clothing in this media form. And what I'm interested in now is essentially freeing my mental bandwidth from the contemplation of how do I do this in the best possible way, while simultaneously living my life in a way where I'm addressing this pain point every day in an effective manner. The way that I see that happening now is by just focusing on doing short form micro video content. It's like focusing on creating reels and learning how to get good at speaking through this language. And I have a sense that if I can learn how to speak in this language, short form content, I will be able to direct the attention that it garners into any direction that I choose. I will be creating in the world in a way which has meaning for other people. And I'm interested in learning how to create in this world in a way which has meaning for other people. I'm not just interested in sharing what I create. I'm interested in creating for the world. That feels new to me. That as a concept, as a revelation, does feel new to me, and I experience myself as very young in the embodiment of that. The embodiment of that, and to me, it's like it does feel like an infinity stone, meaning like learn how to do this, and you can go wherever you want to go. Like learn to do this, and you can get streams. You can get people to buy your art, your merch, you can get opportunities. Even the word get has that kind of like gross texture when I say it, which is indicative and illuminating. Because it's like stop chasing attention, start building a library of content you're proud of. And so when I come back to this as like a touchstone, it's like, okay, what does it mean to build a library of content that I'm proud of? To me, it's very musical. I can see these videos as, like these short form videos, as the very library with the books on the shelf. The very process of learning how to communicate with the world, connect with it. And so then it's like, okay, how do I build a library of content that I'm proud of? And there's obviously no simple answer to that. Well, maybe there's a very simple answer to that, and it's not one that I can. The simple answer to that is you just gotta create a lot. You can't learn this language without immersing yourself within its culture. And so that's my interest right now, is to, let me just turn this off. This thing is too loud. Okay, I'm back. My interest right now is to immerse myself within this culture and learn this language. And the only way to learn it is one step at a time. I may not know what video I want to create 10 videos from now. I think there's a lot of value in allowing myself to be sporadic and kind of try anything and everything and just do whatever the next thing, whatever feels right for the next thing. I think it's about building the palace stone by stone and having all of these stones be front facing in the world, be about delivering these pieces to the world and just getting better at doing that as the practice itself. It's not just the musical practice of making these pieces. It's like changing the attention to, I want to create the best videos that I possibly can. And that's a very different orientation point as a creator than I've taken to really choose this as the medium and allow this pain to be the fuel source for, it's like allowing myself to be forged in the fire of necessity. Like, connect with this pain and let it move me to change, to be something new. So, very simply, I feel that the course of action is to release myself from these contemplations and really just focus on creating these videos. creating a lot of them, like focus my contemplative energy upon, okay, what am I doing in this next video? And in this next video, it's clear to me, it's like, there's a new technique that I want to learn with AI video, which is working with masking and rotoscoping to basically define the subject and bring more control to these AI systems that have a tendency to be very wild. So I feel like that's the core point that I'm here making today, is just, it's orienting to these videos, releasing myself from like the contemplation of what do I do next? How do I move in a way which is filled with vision? And this to me is that. And I've known this for a while now, you know. So what does success look like? I think success is output, and it's just like really striving for quality output, like really striving to make the next video dope as fuck, and you know, recognizing that it's about getting my reps in, and doing so in a heartfelt way, in a way that is full of care rather than careful, right? It's like a way that is full of care, where I'm interested in making this piece slap, making this piece dope, making this piece hit. And I feel I can do that. I really do. That is my word for you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. And thank you for being open to change and receptive to how evolution calls you to be anew in each time. I recognize if I knew the answer, I wouldn't be asking the question. And now it's a matter of, with the answer, implementing it, acting upon it, and re-engaging this conversation from the perspective of the one who has gone forth and done the thing that God has asked. Applied the gift that God has given.